align with the new master blueprint. It will begin to move the threads of the universe to guide your steps, to inspire your actions, the inspired action, to orchestrate the synchronicities, chance, all with a single purpose. To build in the physical world the palace that you have already built in the workshop of silence. You are not attracting your future. You are building it from the inside out, rewiring your own brain to become the machine that will inevitably manifest it. In an ancient kingdom, a wise king decided to build the most magnificent city ever seen. But instead of hiring thousands of architects, he locked himself in a tower for a year. His counselors, perplexed, believed he had gone mad. But the king was not idle. He was building. In the vast workshop of his imagination, he walked the streets of his city. He felt the polished marble of the squares under his feet. He listened to the sound of the fountains. He saw the way the sunlight filtered through the arches. He designed every building, every street, every garden, not as a blueprint, but as a lived experience. He corrected errors, optimized flows, perfected the beauty, all within his mind. He lived in his imaginary city until it was more real to him than the castle he was in. After a year, he emerged from the tower. He did not carry a complex file of blueprints. He carried a single sheet of parchment on which he had drawn the essence, the feeling of the city. He handed it to his master builder, his inner giant, and said, "Build this. You know the feeling. The rest are details." The construction in the physical world was fast and seamless, because it was not an act of creation, but an act of translation. The city had already been built in the only dimension where creation truly occurs, the dimension of the sovereign's mind, the four laws of the perfect scene. Now that you know that your imagination is the most potent neurological reprogramming tool you possess, we become the master craftsmen. We stop being passive dreamers and become engineers of reality. How is this workshop used with the mastery of a visionary? How do you create an image so real that your brain accepts it as a memory and the universe has no choice but to materialize it? You do not daydream randomly. You do not get lost in vague, undirected fantasies. You become a film director of your own soul, and your first act is the writing of the script, the forging of the master blueprint. For your imaginary act to have maximum power, for it to be accepted by the subconscious giant as an irrefutable command, it must be forged with clarity and precision. It cannot be a long, rambling scene. It must be a quantum mold, a perfectly carved jewel, a 5 to 10 second trailer of your finished movie. The scene you build in your mind must comply with 4 fundamental laws, the 4 pillars of the temple of creation. The first law, the law of the final result, the art of assumption. The first and most important law is that the sovereign never visualizes the how. You never imagine the process, the struggle, the intermediate steps, the mountain to be climbed. Visualizing the how is an act of the ego, of the logical mind that believes it must control the process. And by doing so, you only imagine the obstacles you already know, closing the door to miracles and routes that your limited mind cannot conceive. Instead, you always visualize the consummated final result. You do not imagine looking for a job. You imagine the conversation with a loved one, telling them with serene joy and deep relief, "I got the job, it's perfect." You do not imagine the medical treatment. You imagine the doctor looking at you in astonishment and saying, "The results are perfect. You are completely healthy." By living from the end, you perform an act of supreme power. You are quantum jumping over all possible obstacles of the how, which belong to the giant's domain, not yours. You are declaring with the authority of a king that the creation is already finished on the only plane that matters, the plane of your consciousness. The second law, the law of the first person, the art of embodiment. The second law is that of total immersion. The sovereign is not a spectator of their own kingdom, they are its center. You do not watch a movie of yourself from the outside, as if you were a distant observer. You are the protagonist. The scene is always lived through your own eyes. You do not see yourself receiving a hug. You feel the arms around you and see the other person's shoulder over yours. You do not see yourself driving your new car. You feel the touch of the steering wheel in your hands and see the road through the windshield. You do not see yourself healthy. You feel the vitality from within your own body. This distinction is crucial. Watching a movie of yourself maintains separation. It is the subject's prayer looking at the king on his throne. Living the scene from within turns it into an experience.